Ninja! Ninja!
It's 11:59 at Radio Free America, and this is Uncle Sam with music and the truth until dawn. Right now, I got a few words for some of our brothers and sisters in the occupied zone. The chair is against the wall. The chair is against the wall. John has a long mustache. John has a long mustache. It's 12 o'clock, Americans, another day closer to victory. And for all of you out there on or behind the lines, this is your song.
And welcome whoever shows up live. I think DJ's out there. I don't know if anybody's going to show up live for this one. Just sort of a special edition of an update. So let's see. We're going to go down through the description of this video. Well, I guess I do have a poll going before I start throwing everything out of whack. We've got a couple of votes in there already. Are you traveling for 2A in 2022? It's a pretty 2A year to be traveling when you look at it numbers-wise, you know, when you add it all up. But anyway, are you traveling for 2A? Either yes, it's critical to travel for 2A events, or I'll travel as much as I can for 2A, or maybe I'll travel if prices go down and nobody needs to travel for 2A. So we'll see. Right now, everybody's saying that their 2A is dependent on prices. Looks like Kingpin is also joining us. So this is live because I like doing live things. It gives us an opportunity to have participation, and we leave about a quarter to a third of the screen over here to the comments. And no matter how you watch this or where you watch it, we often shove these things over onto other platforms like UTGTube, another platform out there where we have a bunch of the different videos. They get some views, but we don't get a lot of comments over there. So if you are watching it on one of these other places, you'll be able to see the comments on the screen because that's how we roll. All right, so we're talking about, today, we're talking about places to go for 2A events in 2022. We went live the other day and had a quite long live session digging in and looking for all these different events. So this will be a bit of a summary and an update because a couple of these things I found after the fact, and I wanted to be sure to include them. All right, so here's a hypothetical trip, a hypothetical journey, so to speak, across the country in 2022. We'll see how many people show up live, if people want us to put it on a map or not. So just going through the description of this video is a chronological list of the events, and we'll talk about the events and where they're going to be and when. So the first one that I've got on my radar is Big Sandy, which is a big machine gun shoot here in Arizona. That'll be the 18th through the 20th of March. Is that this week? Next weekend? No, it's a couple weekends from now. Or no, it is this weekend. Then we got Blade Show also happening this weekend. This is Blade Show Texas. So there's 3 Blade shows this year. The normal Blade Show is coming up, but the Blade Show Texas is in Fort Worth this weekend. Fort Worth is basically Dallas. Then we've got second annual Gun Makers Match, which is also this weekend, and I didn't have that in the list last time. It's one of the reasons I wanted to do this update. That's happening in Florida, and this is the second annual. So that's a gun makers match for people that do 3D printed stuff, for people that whittle stuff out of blocks of metal or create things on a mill or something like that. And then 80% type of things where frames are finished off as kits. So a match for people to meet up and talk about techniques, I'm sure tools, and of course look at the different, I'd call them almost artwork or artisan pieces at this point. Look at the different results of their efforts. That'll be in Florida. Then we have one of the 2A rallies this year is in New Hampshire. I'm guessing that's at their capital, and it's the 7th annual, if I remember right. 7th annual 2A Freedom Rally in New Hampshire. That'll be on April 2nd. Let's see, Wannemacher's Gun Show is also on April 2nd, and that's in Tulsa, Oklahoma at the fairgrounds. Yeah, and then we got the Illinois Gun Owners Legislation Day, or maybe it's lobby day, but I think it's legislation day. And that's a long-standing tradition. They didn't do it last year, I think, maybe not even the year before, but they should be doing it this year. And I forget what it is. It's like the 40th version of it or something. It's been going on for quite a while. Another one that I didn't have in the list last time, but we're going to put in there this time, is another one in Florida, and this one has guns related to it, but it's more than that. It's 3D printing, it's guns, and also Bitcoin and some other technology. I think there's also some gaming and things like that there. So that'll be April 9th and 10th in Miami, Florida. Next up is another Florida one, April 16th. Well, it seems like if you went down to Florida, you could do a couple of different 2A things. So in Florida, is another rally. This is the 3rd annual Rights for Manasota, which I have no idea what that is, a town maybe, in Sarasota, Florida. And that's on April 16th. Just found that out when we did the other video of this one the other day. Another one we missed, and I'm kicking myself because this is an event that's been going on for a few years, and I definitely wish I could get up there and attend this one. SHOOTAH, which is Shoot, Utah. It's happening in Springville, Utah on May 21st. That's just south east of Salt Lake City area, like that kind of metropolitan area. I think it's just a little bit southeast of there. I've seen the reviews of it, seen people that have attended it. Really cool. What I should have done is put links. I'll be putting links to all of these things. I took this off of a stupid notepad instead of I could have taken it from somewhere else. I wasn't even thinking. So there'll be links on this if you're watching this in the future. Sorry about it. I didn't think to put them on here ahead of time. So let's see. The next thing that's happening in May is the No Other Choice Train and Learn event. This will be the 3rd annual Train and Learn event just outside of St. Louis, Missouri, which is held by KD, No Other Choice. And this is an opportunity for people who are creating content for gun shops, for other people in media, and then for manufacturers, and then firearms instructors to all get together and train, gain new skills, collaborate, and grow. So really cool event, and it brings a bunch of cool people together. Bunch of the people have been going back again and again, and then it keeps growing. So new people are showing up each year. Really cool multi-day event, and unique. Nothing else like that's really happening. That's open to everyone. There's some organizations that do this type of training and skill building internally, but nobody else makes it available. And it's like $300 for a 3-day event. It costs less than most typical shooting classes or most, school or classroom type classes. All right, I got to take up. So next up is the same weekend, except in Texas, is the NRA Annual Meetings. If they don't cancel them or change them like they have in the past, not that they're gonna this year, but that's in Houston. Let's see, the next event after that would be June 3rd, which would be the normal Blade Show, the traditional Blade Show over in Atlanta. Sometimes Wield shows up out here. He's been attending that one. You can see a bunch of reviews of Blade Show from over on his channel. That same weekend, all the way up in Nebraska, Defense Dad is hosting a community shoot, a get-together at a shooting range for people that are interested, and he's asking people who are interested to RSVP by the end of March, the end of this month, and that'll happen in June, though, and Travis is up there in Nebraska. He'll be helping them out, and that should be a cool event. They told me where it is, but I don't remember where it is in Nebraska. Then later on in that month, June, you've got the Oklahoma Full Auto Shoot and Trade Show. That's an outdoor, obviously a full auto machine gun shoot, but it's also an outdoor trade show. So sort of like a little bit of a SHOT Show, not a SHOT Show, kind of like a media day, place for manufacturers and some probably retailers and stuff to show up and show off their stuff and let you pull triggers. Kingpin just posted a link to Wield and Wall Arms channel. Thanks for that. I can watch some, some videos from Blade Show in Atlanta. Let's see. Michigan has a 2A rally in September. Oh, I got these out of order. Sorry about that. But that's on a Wednesday. So that's at the Capitol in Michigan. On September 30th, we found out that the gun rights policy will be happening in Dallas. And it says it will be a real one this year. This weekend of the 7th, so the next weekend, there's the third Blade Show, and that one's happening in Salt Lake City. I don't know about you, but I like any excuse to get up to Salt Lake City. If you've ever been to Salt Lake City and met some of the people from that region, they're going to dig their knives. So I bet you a Blade Show in Salt Lake City is worth attending. I don't know if it's the first one, but I think it might be the first one. Seems pretty interesting. Now, that same weekend, down in Texas is the Kalash Bash. So that's an outdoor get-together. Well, I keep saying outdoor. It's a get-together at an outdoor range where they shoot Kalashnikovs and have some competitions, and it's a bit of a spectacle / event. Let's call it that. Then something kind of similar but kind of different is Big Sandy, which we talked about the first thing here. Big Sandy happens twice a year. So the second one, I looked it up, is happening on the 14th and the 16th of October. Then it looks like you got a couple of the weekends. And then Wannemacher, another yearly event that happens twice, will happen on November 12th and 13th. When you're looking at the largest gun show in the world, it happens in a convention center. It's at the state fairgrounds, but I'm going to call the building an exposition building, maybe an expo building, that has no uprights, no center supports. It's a big free spanning roof because they set up oil drilling stuff inside of this building. That's what the place was created for, so that oil drilling companies could have these conventions there inside of a building with all this giant equipment. They also do all kinds of events in there, and this giant gun show happens with 4,000 tables. To put it in perspective, a typical gun show somewhere like 100 to 300 tables. A big gun show is 500 to 1,000 tables. So this is like 4 or more of the biggest gun shows, all at the same time in the same building. It's very large, and it happens twice a year. The first one is usually a little bigger, in my opinion, and it is kind of a more diverse one. The one that happens in November is a little bit smaller, and it seems like it's a little bit more focused on a little more ammo and gifts. I don't know. It might be my perception. But if I was going to go to one, I think I would go to the April one, I think. Maybe it's just because I don't like going when it's cold and battling all the bad weather, if there's bad weather that year. Then finally, we get to this USCCA has their exposition or their expo in Dallas on November 11th and 13th. And then the last thing that I'm aware of is the SAR show, the Small Arms Review Show, that happens on the first weekend of December each year at the fairgrounds in Phoenix, here in Arizona. And that's everything. We had a couple of things. We added SHOOTAH, which again, I'm kicking myself for not putting that one in the first time. It's something I've been interested in going to for a couple of years now. There's Bear Arms and Bitcoin. I just learned about that the other day, so I added that one. And then the Gunmakers match I knew about and had just slipped my mind, so I wanted to be sure to add that one as well. So this is about 15-minute wrap-up of the events that we dug into. Was that on Monday? So a couple of days ago when we're recording this, and kind of a quicker summary. All of this information will be over at guncalendars.com. So if you don't want to watch this whole video or whatever, you can just hang out at guncalendars.com, and there's always going to be the information about all the different stuff that goes on, and we'll include all these different events. So we did have a poll going, and I'll end that with 9 votes. It looks as though we'll eventually get it to show up on the screen here. Maybe. Probably should have read it before I waited to, or before I shut it down here. Okay, so here it comes. Are you traveling for 2A in 2022? It looks like 44% of the people said yes. It's critical to attend events. So that's interesting with 9 votes. That's 5 votes, I think. No, that would be 4 votes for that. Maybe is 33%. Maybe if prices go down. So that was 33%. And then I'll travel as much as I can is 22%. And nobody who showed up for a show about travel in 2022 for 2A voted against it. So isn't that amazing? All right. Well, thanks everybody. And let's click edit video real quick. Let's insert the poll results down here so that the internet knows all about the poll results in the future. And unless there's any, I'll read through the results, or I'll read through the comments here that came in live. Eventually, I'll read through the results. Or I'll read through I lost my little ninja picture. So I'll leave it on the Patreon. I'll leave it on that, I guess. Let's actually, we don't need this anymore. So we'll just read whatever comments we got, and then we'll end it up. I wish more national events were held in the Midwest, equidistant from all 4 corners of the country, and Kansas, Missouri, and Iowa are great gun states with more than enough host cities and facilities. I would think Oklahoma would get more. DJs are saying that. I would think Oklahoma would get more. Oklahoma City, really, because it seems like it's right in the middle and it's on 40. Nobody drives those other roads except for truckers. At least I don't know anybody that drives those other roads. So I think your problem being in the Midwest is also being north like that. You're going to restrict yourself to just being in the middle of the year. Now, in the middle of the year, it's gross in a lot of places. So if you were to get rid of all the bugs and make it interesting, maybe then people would show up. So that's maybe a project for DJ. Let's see. So everybody's just chatting with each other and selling some rare 47 magazines. I just saw somebody sell a magazine for 200 and something bucks. So I am in the travel. I'm in the travel as I can, but unfortunately I'm gonna travel as much as I can. Maybe that's what he's saying. All right. Well, with everybody who wants to leave some comments after this is all over, feel free. And thanks to the people that joined us live. I'm trying to cut it short so that it doesn't turn into a very long video. Really just want to let people know about the things that are happening this year. If something's happening near you, or if something's happening and it's something that's of interest to you, or it's a part of the community that you're interested in, I encourage you to spread the word. Let people know. Create something like this of your own. Create blog posts like this if you're on one of the other platforms. Scheduling posts is always an option, so that you can do this while you're watching TV or something and just kind of schedule a bunch of these things off to remind people of these events. But the more people that show up, the more successful they are, the more likely they are to continue on and be there and evolve and be more interesting for the next time around. All right, CNT's out there, has been doing stuff with the kiddos, but listening. Right on. Thanks for checking in. OKC is boring. I-80 is the major east-west. I don't know about that. I don't like everything about Oklahoma City, but there are a couple of things like the 45th Infantry Division Museum, super awesome museum, a private collection, 700 guns, if I remember right, something like that. And then organized by campaign. How often do you see everything organized by campaign? Not very often. Giant, massive collection, mostly guns, some bayonets and magazines and a little bit of web gear, but not a lot of time wasted on mannequins and stuff. There's a couple of them, but mostly just a specimen gun collection. Really cool collection. It's something you can absorb in an hour, but you could spend all day there. There's a whole nother chunk in the back for all the military occupational specialties, which I suppose the military museums probably has that kind of stuff, but 45th Infantry Museum does it right. They've got a cool gift shop with lots of cool stuff. So if you bring somebody, a kid or something, and you want to give them a reward for going through and looking at a bunch of guns, you can give them a really cool opportunity to hang out at a little cool gift shop. A lot of cool stuff from toys to books to other stuff. And then the outside stuff is all static displays. You get to run around, touch airplanes, hide underneath of them, run around. I mean, if you haven't played with static displays, then definitely give a kid an opportunity to eat a picnic or something with all those static displays. Jump on them and play around on the tanks. If they tell you you're not supposed to, then I'm not endorsing it, but I am endorsing it. Jump on a tank. At least let a kid jump on a tank. Throw a kid on a tank, and then it's not the kid's fault, and then they get to figure out how to get off the tank. Everybody wins. All right. With that, Oklahoma City, the rest of it, they can fend for themselves. There are some cool stuff there, but anyway. All right. Well, thanks anyway. Thanks everybody for showing up. I don't want to make it real long and turn it into just blabbing, so we'll end it. Encourage you to consider traveling or promoting some of these events.
This episode, nobody beats the house.
Thank you for supporting our projects. If you'd like to buy us a cup of coffee, check out our Patreon channel.
The guys and gals at gunwebsites.com encourage you to take a CCW class every year, practice at least once a month, and carry every day. Thank you for watching gunwebsites.com.